Single mom buys abandoned farm. Military arrives after she uncovers secret bunker. With only $2,500 left and an eviction notice looming, Laura Bennett, a single mother, made a desperate bid at a rural auction for a dilapidated farmhouse shunned by seasoned investors. Struggling to provide for her daughter after her husband's abrupt disappearance, Laura hoped the property would offer a fresh start. What she found hidden beneath the barn, a secret military installation untouched for decades, would transform her life and draw armed special forces to her doorstep before dawn. A desperate gamble. Laura Bennett, 34, sat at her kitchen table, staring at an eviction notice, 14 days to vacate. Unpaid bills piled beside a photo of her 8-year-old daughter, Sophie, grinning in her soccer uniform. 3 years ago, Laura's husband, Michael, vanished, claiming he needed space. His child support stopped 6 months ago, leaving Laura and Sophie in a cramped apartment where cigarette smoke from neighbors triggered Sophie's asthma. Once a promising environmental engineer, Laura had scaled back to part-time consulting to manage Sophie's medical needs. Now, her $2,500 emergency fund was all that stood between them and homelessness. "Mom, you okay?" Sophie asked, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Laura forced a smile. "Just thinking, sweetie. Let's get breakfast." As she poured cereal, Laura's mind raced. Her parents were gone, her sister lived abroad with her own struggles, and her credit cards were maxed out. Sophie's school had called yesterday. Sophie was falling asleep in class, exhausted by the noisy neighbors. The thin walls offered no respite from arguments or smoke. After dropping Sophie at school, Laura scrolled through rental listings in her old Honda. Nothing near Sophie's school or her clients was affordable. Then, an ad caught her eye. A county tax auction for a 15-acre farmstead in Pine Creek, Miller County, 40 minutes away. Starting bid, $2,000. Photos showed a weathered farmhouse, a sagging barn, and overgrown fields. Vacant for a decade, seized for unpaid taxes. It was a gamble, but no mortgage meant Laura could manage taxes with her income. The catch? The buildings looked like they needed serious work. Laura researched the property. Built in 1910, renovated in the 1970s, the 1,800-square-foot farmhouse had 3 bedrooms, a well, and a septic system. The previous owner, William Carter, died in 2013, and his heir abandoned it. Pine Creek was quiet, agricultural, with clean air that could help Sophie's asthma. Buying a rundown farm with no farming experience was reckless, but homelessness or a dangerous neighborhood was worse. By morning, Laura decided she'd bid. "We're going on an adventure," she told Sophie, who bounced excitedly as they drove to the courthouse. The auction room was crowded, but interest focused on commercial lots. When the Pine Creek farmstead was announced, Laura raised her paddle at $2,000. No one countered. "Sold to bidder 43, the auctioneer declared. As Laura signed the paperwork, draining her account, the clerk, Mrs. Hargrove, gave her a curious look. "The Carter place? Folks say it's got a strange history. William Carter, military man, kept to himself. Odd vehicles at night, talk of a doomsday shelter." Laura brushed it off. "Probably just gossip." Mrs. Hargrove shrugged. "Maybe. My cousin does handyman work if you need repairs." Sophie was thrilled. "Can we have chickens?" "A pony?" Laura smiled cautiously. "Maybe someday. First, we make the house livable." A dilapidated dream. The gravel driveway to the farm was marked by a faded sign, Carter. The farmhouse loomed, gray siding peeling, porch sagging, windows boarded or broken. The barn, 100 yards away, was faded crimson, its roof patchy. Overgrown fields stretched to dense woods. "It's like a haunted house," Sophie exclaimed, racing to an apple tree. Laura's stomach sank. "What have I done?" she whispered, stepping onto the creaking porch. The front door, unlocked with the clerk's key, groaned open. Inside, dust hung heavy, cobwebs draping the ceiling. Some furniture remained: a tattered sofa, a dining table with mismatched chairs. The first floor had a living room with a stone fireplace, a dining room, a kitchen with rusted appliances, and a study with empty bookshelves. Upstairs, 3 bedrooms and a grimy bathroom held a metal bed frame, an oak dresser, and a child's rocking chair that sent a chill through Laura. The kitchen sink was unusable, and the electricity was off, but the structure seemed sound. Behind the kitchen, Sophie found a door to a root cellar. Mom, there's a room down here. Laura's flashlight revealed stone steps to a dirt floor, shelves with dusty jars, and an odd section of wall with faint seams. Pressing it, she felt a click, and a stone panel swung inward, revealing a concrete tunnel. Mom, you okay? Sophie called after a grinding sound. I'm fine, sweetie. Just old shelves. Explore the living room. Alone, Laura opened the door wider. The tunnel, lined with cinder blocks and metal conduits, sloped downward. This wasn't a cellar, it looked military-grade. With Sophie upstairs, Laura retreated, closing the door. Her mind raced. What was William Carter hiding? They camped in the study that night, sleeping bags on the floor. It's like indoor camping, Sophie said. Laura lay awake, the tunnel haunting her thoughts. At dawn, she resolved to explore it before planning repairs. After breakfast, she settled Sophie with her tablet in the sunlit living room. Stay here, okay? I'm checking the cellar. With a better flashlight, Laura reopened the hidden door and entered the tunnel. It turned after 30 feet, opening into a 40-foot square room with green-painted walls and fluorescent fixtures. Metal shelves, desks with old computers, and radio equipment suggested a military setup. A desk bore a nameplate, Captain W. Carter, USAF. A filing cabinet held folders labeled Blue Forest Monitoring Station. Terms like aerial anomaly detection and unidentified intrusion tracking hinted at a Cold War-era operation. Beyond a heavy door with a keypad, Laura found living quarters bunks, a kitchenette, a bathroom designed for extended stays. Kicking a keyring with an electronic fob, she froze as car engines approached. It was 7 a.m. Who was here? Pocketing the keys, Laura hurried back, closing the door. Through the window, she saw 3 black SUVs. Men in military fatigues and 2 in plain clothes emerged. Mom, why are soldiers here? Sophie asked. Stay in the kitchen, sweetie, Laura said, heart pounding. Military confrontation. A firm knock sounded. Laura opened the door to a tall man in his 40s, wearing a tactical uniform. MS. Laura Bennett? Major Daniel Pierce, Air Force Special Investigations. We need to discuss this property. Showing his ID, he requested entry. Laura hesitated. My daughter's inside. Can we talk privately first? Pierce nodded, sending a colleague to the SUV. You purchased this property yesterday, correct? He asked. Laura confirmed. Were you aware of its history? The clerk mentioned the owner was military, reclusive. That's all. Pierce studied her. Captain William Carter ran a decommissioned military installation here, never fully cleared. Our sensors detected access to a hidden facility this morning, the first in a decade. We assume it was you. Stunned they'd monitored the door, Laura admitted. I found a door in the cellar and looked inside briefly. I was curious about what I'd bought. Did you remove anything? Pierce asked. Thinking of the keys, Laura said. No, it was dark, and I didn't want to leave my daughter. A woman in plain clothes stepped forward. Dr. Susan Hayes, DoD Science Division. What did you see? Laura described an office with old equipment, filing cabinets, and living quarters, downplaying her findings. Hayes explained, the Blue Forest facility monitored unexplained aerial observations in the 1980s. It's decommissioned, but some technology and data remain sensitive. Sophie appeared. Mom, I'm hungry. Seeing the soldiers, she asked, Are you alien hunters? Pierce softened. Just Air Force, kiddo. Laura tensed. How do you know her name? Standard background check, Pierce said. Unauthorized access to a military site triggers verification. Sophie blurted. Mom found a secret door. It was spooky. Hayes raised an eyebrow. We need to secure materials from the facility, MS. Bennett. Your cooperation is appreciated. Laura agreed, leading them to the cellar door. Pierce's team entered the tunnel with gear, while Laura, Sophie, Pierce, and Hayes moved to the porch. What was Carter monitoring? Laura asked. Hayes chose her words carefully. This region had unusual aerial activity in the 1980s. The farm's isolation was ideal for sensors. Carter, trained in advanced systems, operated it undercover as a farmer. Why is it still secret? Laura pressed. The data and technology are relevant to current defense systems, Hayes said. The facility's not dangerous, but its existence is classified. Laura asked about the sensors. They run on an independent power source with satellite links, designed to function for decades, Hayes explained. You'll need to sign a non-disclosure agreement, Pierce added. If you refuse, the property could be reclaimed for national security, with compensation for your purchase. Protective of her new home, Laura asked, will you remove the facility? Hayes shook her head. The structure states it's too disruptive to dismantle. We're taking specific equipment and documents. Pierce noted. The main console was accessed recently. Dust patterns suggest someone searched it. Did you take anything like keys? Laura denied it, suggesting animals. Pierce seemed skeptical but didn't push. By afternoon, the team had removed equipment and documents. Pierce declared the facility cleared, disabling the locks, but warning about air quality underground. Hayes presented the non-disclosure agreement, prohibiting Laura from discussing the facility, Carter's role, or its purpose. What about Sophie? Laura asked. She knows about the door. Hayes smiled. Kids talk about secret passages. As long as you don't confirm military details, it's harmless. As the SUVs left, Laura and Sophie watched from the porch. Are they coming back? Sophie asked. I don't think so, Laura said, feeling the keys in her pocket. She hadn't mentioned them, and the military hadn't found them. Uncovering secrets. That night, Laura couldn't sleep. The military's swift response, Hayes' vague answers, and the keys nagged at her. After Sophie was asleep, Laura examined the keys, 3 metal ones and an electronic fob. Were they a test? A trap? Exhausted, she dreamt of tunnels and strange lights. Morning brought focus. Laura prioritized making the house livable, restoring utilities, fixing the roof, replacing windows. She called the electric company, which sent a technician that afternoon. The Carter place, he remarked, had its own generator. Old Man Carter was prepared. By sunset, power was restored and lights flickered on. Less spooky now, Sophie said over sandwiches. Laura's thoughts kept drifting to the keys. With Sophie asleep, she returned to the cellar, reopening the tunnel. Dim lights flickered, despite Hayes' claim of an independent power source. The facility was emptier, cabinets cleared, equipment gone, but Carter's desk remained. The third key unlocked a drawer containing a leather notebook, maps marked with locations, and a device resembling a logo-less smartphone. The notebook was Carter's journal, spanning 1989 to 2013. August 15, 1989, third sighting this month. Patterns suggest they're responding to this region. December 3, 1992, command ignores non-military implications, only cares if it's Soviet. March 3, 2013, they're shutting us down. Too much evidence. I've hidden the truth where they won't look. The land will protect it until someone ready comes. The maps marked a spot in the northern woods. The device connected to the fob, displaying files, videos, data, communication attempts, 25 years of research into phenomena Carter believed were extraordinary. Laura locked the drawer, overwhelmed. Was she the someone ready? A new purpose? For 2 weeks, Laura focused on repairs, hiring Mrs. Hargrove's cousin, Tom, for bigger jobs. Folks don't ask about the Carter place, he said, fixing the porch. Sophie started at the local school, her asthma improving in the clean air. Laura resumed remote consulting, using the study as an office. She hid Carter's journal under a floorboard, reading nightly. His conviction grew clear. The farm was a hotspot for unexplained phenomena. A month later, Laura decided to investigate the map's marked location. Let's go on a hike, she told Sophie, who grabbed the metal detector they'd found in a shed. In the woods, a turtle-shaped rock matched the map. Sophie's detector beeped, revealing a metal plate. The smallest key unlocked it, exposing a waterproof box. At home, Laura opened it, a portfolio of Carter's unofficial research, a metallic cylinder projecting a 3D star map, and a data device compatible with the desk's device. The portfolio detailed 25 years of aerial phenomena, photos of structured craft, spectral analyses, Carter's theories. July 12, 1998. Maneuvers impossible for human pilots or known materials. The data device, linked to the fob, held clear recordings of lights moving intelligently. Carter wasn't delusional, documented something real. Laura needed an ally. Recalling Hayes' comment about fertile soil, she collected samples and visited Pine Creek's agricultural research station. Dr. Emily Liu, a soil specialist, recognized the Carter place. Unusual geological features, she said, agreeing to analyze the samples. Laura asked about Carter. He donated unique plants drought-resistant, nutrient-dense, Liu said. We're still studying them. Have you heard of unusual phenomena here? Laura ventured. Liu led her to a greenhouse, showing plants with odd leaf patterns. Carter's seeds, from 2010. Their DNA is unlike anything known, possibly altered by phenomena he studied. Laura asked if the soil was safe. Its beneficial plants need less water, resist pests, Liu confirmed. Carter studied environmental effects, believing the farm was an intersection point for phenomena. Liu hinted Carter's 2013 death, a heart attack, might not have been natural, as he'd planned to go public. Liu offered collaboration. Carter wanted this knowledge shared. Call me if you find anything. Laura drove home, reeling. Her farm wasn't random, it was a scientific anomaly. Embracing the mystery. Laura's garden thrived unnaturally fast. Sophie's carrots sprouted in days. Tomatoes fruited in weeks. Magic plants, Sophie called them. When Sophie mentioned school rumors of Carter and aliens, Laura said, he studied unusual sky events. We don't know what they were. Sophie nodded. The aliens make our plants grow. They're not scary. Laura saw opportunity, not fear. She documented the garden's growth, collected soil samples, and set up an observation post in the barn loft with cameras and sensors. Sophie, her assistant, viewed it as a secret science mission. For 3 weeks, they saw only stars. Then, in July, lights appeared, pulsating orbs moving geometrically, defying physics. One hovered over the garden, emitting a bluish beam for 30 seconds. By morning, the garden had exploded. Tomatoes ripened, squash doubled overnight. Laura shared the footage with Liu, who was stunned. This is beyond Carter's records. They're enhancing our plants. They formed a partnership. Laura documented phenomena. Liu analyzed samples, connecting with trusted scientists. Carter would be proud, Liu said. In September, an orb hovered outside the loft, pulsing in a Fibonacci sequence Sophie had made with stones. It was deliberate communication. Liu's team, including a physicist and anthropologist, saw it as historic. They introduced mathematical patterns on the farm, hoping for recognition. A new legacy. By autumn, renamed Bennett Farm, the property thrived. The house was repaired, the garden donated surplus to the food bank, and Sophie flourished. The underground facility became a lab for Carter's archive and Laura's research. Phenomena appeared twice monthly, sometimes interacting with the land. Laura stood under the stars, a single light pulsing in Carter's sequence. We're listening, she whispered. From desperation, she'd found purpose, continuing Carter's work to understand a cosmos reaching out not in fear, but in friendship.